In an interview with 570 News, co-owner of the Waterloo-based company Snapsort, Reid, discussed the infographic he and his company created in support of a light rail system for Waterloo Region. When asked about the genesis behind the graphic, Reid gave some company background which helped lead to the project.
We're located at the Accelerator Center, which is an incubator for technology startups in the technology campus at UW. And one thing that the sort of leadership here tries to do is impress on the tech companies that they should participate in the local community, and they should, they should participate in local issues. So it was mentioned that LRT was an issue coming up, and that we should think about it and maybe say something if we had interest. So that was kind of the impetus. There's
a ton of information. There's a ton of data in here. Where did all the info come from? How did you put all that together?
Yeah, so the info we gathered from a bunch of sources. I think there's, probably about 20-something sources. So in the, you probably don't want me to list them all because I'll be talking for 10 minutes listing them all, but they're actually on the infographic in the comments. We list all the sources that we pulled the information from.
Was it easy to get the information you wanted or needed from all the different people you contacted?
It took a fair amount of time to actually pull it all together and to get it into what we felt was a consumable form. I mean, the goal was really to make this easy. So easy for the average person to sort of look at, because what we found was no one wants to go read a 50-page report. The only people who are doing that are like very, very vocal people who have time to read 50-page reports. Or you have the opposite, which is people are hearing snippets stated from experts on either side, and they're kind of grasping onto those and just repeating them a bunch. So we just wanted something that was easy to consume for the average consumer.
It's one of those polarizing subjects because a lot of people, look immediately at the cost to them, and a lot of people assume that, well, taxes are going up and that means more money out of my pocket, et cetera, et cetera. But this kind of a representation at least gives people on both sides who have preconceived notions at least a little bit of ammo as far as pieces of information that can help them at least formulate a decision.
Yeah, and one thing I think we felt that people were missing is that largely this is a debate between BRT and LRT, and the differences between those two, if that's what this is really about, the differences are actually quite small. And we wanted to sort of emphasize the difference, which is, we sort of have this quote on there, it is $2.65 per person makes sense to argue about, because on a per capita basis, the difference is rather small. And that seems to be sort of the point of the argument, BRT versus LRT.
You've really hit 99 or maybe 100% of the actual issues that are involved, at least the issues that may get people debating and the issues that may get people to be polarized on it. Was there, looking back on it now, is there anything that maybe you wish you would have put into it, or do you pretty much think you got all of it?
Well, I don't know. We're software guys. We're trying to build a technology startup here. We're not transportation people. I mean, my background, I'm an engineer from UW, so I do have a technical background. But we could only put on there what we were aware of, so we tried to make ourselves aware and put everything on there we felt was useful. And then, we got back to running our company. So there's nothing really that I wish I had put in there, because we put in everything we knew about, and I haven't really thought about it a whole lot since.
So what kind of reaction have you had from people contacting you that have seen it?
Not many people have contacted. There's a lot of emails, there's a bunch of comments on our site within, beneath the infographic, and they generally seem to be pro. I don't know if that's a factor of the demographics of people who are pro, maybe people who are anti-LRT don't read blogs and, comment on them. I don't know, but I would imagine demographics have a lot to do with this. In terms of the response we see, we're not getting calls. Brenda hasn't called us. to discuss the quote we put about on her. Neither is Carl's there, but so no, we haven't really got any feedback.
And what's next for you guys? Based on your last comment that this one's pretty much put to bed and you're on to bigger and better things kind of thing, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, ultimately, we're trying to build a large technology company, and our company, the whole purpose of our company is to help consumers make better decisions. That's the goal. We're trying to, whether you're buying a car, whether you're buying a cell phone, which data plan should you choose? Should you choose Rogers or TELUS? Those are the kind of questions that most consumers, their brains blow up trying to figure out the answers to these, because it's just very, very difficult. Same with LRT, BRT. So our goal as a business is to help consumers make better decisions, and we're trying to do that at scale. So we're launching a site soon that helps you figure out which phone to buy, which plan is right for you, which apps you should install on your phone. That's sort of the big thing we're working on now.
If another group gets in contact with you and says, well, I've got this piece of information, I mean, that's something you could look into at least at that point as well.
These infographics are a very intensive thing to put together. The artwork takes a long time. So us sort of getting an artist to continually touch it up on a real-time basis is not. It's not a really good. It's not a good format for updating. The comment thread is a really good format for updating. It's totally democratic. People can just come on and say what they want. So we're hoping that people use the sort of comment thread to say what they think and to see what other people have thought. But definitely, if someone wants to talk to us, if like this interview, we were happy to do. If anyone wants to talk to us about the issue, we're more than happy to give our sort of perspective as a small technology company in the region and how we view that, sort of the issue from that perspective. I mean, we put in this section on other cities, and we specifically focused on other technology centers, trying to make the point that, if we're going to grow into a world-class tech center, there's all these other world-class tech centers that did this before us, so let's sort of use them as a point in case.
You guys clearly see this as a major opportunity for this region to really take the next step.
I do. That's in a macro sense. In a micro sense, I'm sure we're very scared of overruns and government waste and messing it up. But I think that these very large infrastructure expenses, like the highway that went in I guess it was the 50s or the 60s. These are things that are very difficult to do, and they need a lot of leadership and they need a lot of investment. And I think those are things that the region and government should be responsible for, because it's very hard to accomplish it without that kind of leadership. So hopefully they do it within the cost constraints, and they get it done well, and they observe sort of the business owner's needs during construction. I mean, there's a lot of issues around this that I can understand as a business owner and as a fairly conservative person, but I think big things like this long-term are pretty positive.
You can view the full infographic in its entirety by visiting their website located at blog.snapsort.com.